The day with the shortest daylight and longest night is approaching. Everyone gets out their pots and starts boiling red beans. On this day, Koreans look to these red beans to quell their fears and keep them warm. When winter is at its peak on Dongji, the winter solstice, what do Koreans eat? It's a chilly day in December. Women gather at a hanok in Donghae, Gangwon-do province. Today is Dongji, the 22nd solar term of the year. Tonight will be the longest of the year, meaning that it's time to cook red beans.
동짓날 팥죽 쓰려고 준비하고 있습니다. 동짓날에 팥죽을 써서 먹는데 집안에 나쁜 일이 일어나지 말라고 하는 일입니다.
Since long ago, Koreans have been making special foods at the start of a new solar term. These dishes are called jeolsik. The jeolsik for Dongji is red bean porridge, patjuk. The red beans are washed clean, then boiled in a big pot. The first batch of water is thrown out. Red beans are rich in a chemical called saponin, which can upset the stomach. The fresh water makes the porridge less bitter and easier on the stomach. Once the beans are boiled soft, they are sieved to leave only the skins. The water used to boil the beans is poured down the sieve as well to make the starch nice and rich.
고운 채로 걸러가지고 다 속만 그러니까 여기 빠져나오는 거죠.
Choosing, washing, boiling and sieving red beans can take up to half a day. It's a lot of labour. Patjuk, when properly made, is a slow food that can only be perfected with time, patience and care. Next, they boil some rice in a pot. Then they add the red bean starch and keep stirring to keep it from hardening. While the patjuk is boiling, the women have another task to do. Right out here on the floor. They make egg-shaped rice cakes called sealshim. First, they pour hot water into glutinous rice powder to make the dough. These rice cakes have a special meaning.
나이수만큼 자기가 이 새알을 한 그릇 먹을 때 나이만큼 이제 새알을 먹어야 된다. 그래서 또 한 해가 지나가서 한 살 먹었다. 이렇게 얘기를 해서 작은 설이라고도 한답니다. 동지를.
The rice cake balls are blanched and soaked in cold water before being added to the porridge. This keeps the shape and texture intact.
다 넣었어요.
Koreans believed that you only aged another year once you had patjuk with sealshim. Patjuk on Dongji was just as important as the traditional rice cake soup on Lunar New Year's Day. Kim Young-ja takes a bowl of patjuk to the ancestral shrine. The first taste of this carefully made patjuk is not for the living. After the ancestral rite, the porridge is placed in the room, out in the yard, and atop big earthen jars. Why is that?
잘 지켜주십시오. 식구들의 건강을 잘 지켜주십시오 하는 그런 바람도 있겠죠.
The porridge is smeared onto pine branches and spread all over the house. The reason is explained in Dongguk Saeshigi, a record of seasonal customs in Korea. The November section reads that on Dongji, the patjuk would be spread everywhere to ward off bad spirits.
그 아세라는 것은 이 요즘으로 따지면 작은 설이라고 할 수가 있는데요. 동지를 설로다가 여겨왔다고 할 수가 있습니다. 그래서 이 동짓날은 이 낮의 길이가 짧고 밤이 가장 긴 날이기 때문에 동지 다음으로부터 뭐냐면 낮의 길이가 점점 길어지기 때문에 지금 뭐냐면 동지를 시점으로 해서 태양에 다시 부활하는 그런 시기로서 뭐냐면 이 하나의 중요한 세시로 여겨왔다고 할 수가 있습니다.
하나, 둘,
한 10개쯤 있나?
8개. 8개. 찰로만 하니까.
나이 수만큼 먹는다고 하면은 어린애들은 뭐 5개, 6개 먹으면 되겠지만 한갑 넘은 사람들은 옹심이 60개를 새알을 60개를 먹어야 되잖아요. 그걸 먹을 수 있는 양이 아니잖아요.
On Dongji, the sun dies and comes alive again. Koreans would have patjuk, looking forward to the new year, to the spring that would come once again. This bowl of Dongji patjuk was a promise and a wish in the dead of winter to welcome a fresh and healthy spring. Households aren't the only places that are busy on Dongji. On the shortest day and longest night of the year, temples are particularly busy. Why have all these people come to the temple on this chilly day?
예, 동지 불공은 지난해 감사와 돌아오는 새해 무사함을 발언하는 기도예요. 그래서 새해에도 아무 탈 없이 잘 살게 해달라고 기도하는 거죠.
But today, there's a place that's even busier than the prayer hall. More than 100 Buddhists have come together in the kitchen to make food. 4 big pots are boiling here.
한 몇 가만이야?
4가만 아니 5가만.
5가만이고.
이거 포이지.
뭐 1000명 이상은 먹겠지 뭐.
Today they are making 2,000 servings, a feat only possible with all 4 pots boiling at full speed. It is customary to share patjuk with families and neighbours. While sharing patjuk, Koreans reflect on their misdeeds and pray for a better year. But this isn't the end. Once everyone's got their fill, the temple hands out calendars.
예, 해마다 동지 때 드리고요. 새해를 위해서 집에다 걸어놓으면 이제 좋은 기도 받고 해서 절에 와서 이렇게 가져가시는 것 같습니다.
In Korea, it's an important custom to give out calendars on Dongji Day. Since Korea was an agricultural society, a calendar, which marked the year's main agricultural events, was a precious New Year's gift. On Dongji, people would enjoy patjuk to ward off bad spirits and prepare themselves for the new year. Although the name Dongji patjuk is the same all over Korea, the actual dish varies by region. In Gangwon-do province, the porridge was made with corn. Every region produced different local crops and used different cooking methods. People in Jeollado province welcome Dongji with red bean noodle soup, and in Chungcheon-do province, classic patjuk with sealshim and rice grains. When Dongji landed in early November on the lunar calendar, it was called Dongji. In this case, children were given red bean rice cakes instead, because patjuk was considered bad luck for them. But no matter what the dish, the main ingredient was always red beans.
팥은 붉은색이기 때문에 붉은색은 양에 해당이 되기 때문에 그래서 애기음을 뭐냐면은 제압할 수 있다든지 막을 수 있다는 그런 의미로서 이 팥죽을 먹고 또 이것을 대문 앞에 뿌린다든지 장독대에 뿌린다든지 해서 하나의 액을 막을 수 있다는 그런 속신을 믿어왔다고 할 수가 있습니다.
For Koreans, red beans are more than just an ingredient. What deeper meaning did these beans have? In the past, Koreans used red beans to make a special fermented sauce.
팥으로 장을 만드는 겁니다. 여러분이 아시는 된장과 같은 그런 장을 만드는 겁니다.
To make the sauce patjang, red beans and salt are pounded together. This prevents red beans from spoiling quickly. In the past, Koreans believed they could achieve balance by having red beans, which have yang energy, in wintertime filled with yin. Since fermented sauces, known as chang, are always present on Korean tables, it made sense that Koreans would develop a way to incorporate red beans into their daily diet through chang.
밀가루를 넣는 이유는 효모균이 잘 안착할 수 있도록 하기 위해서 밀가루를 섞습니다.
Adding flour to the watery red beans toughens the dough. The dough is thoroughly kneaded and used to make red bean maeju, the main ingredient for patjang. The final step is to ferment the maeju to make the sauce. Maeju is pierced in the middle to make a donut shape. There's a special reason for this unusual shape. The hole in the center helps with ventilation, shortening the fermentation time.
우리는 이렇게 된장을 콩으로만 담그는 줄 알았는데
그렇죠.
예, 팥은 저는 이렇게 만드는 거 얘기 듣기조차도 처음이거든요.
아, 그래요?
네,
네.
근데 맛있는 냄새가 나는 게 맛있을 것 같아요.
For people today, patjang is a strange and unfamiliar sauce. But it was quite common in the past, and its uses are recorded in old cookbooks. When Koreans think of chang, the first to come to mind will be doenjang, made by fermenting soybeans. Patjang is made in almost the same way, dipping the meju in salt water. However, the two have very distinct flavors.
콩으로 메주를 써서 이 된장을 만드는 것은 아무래도 이제 이렇게 발효하는 과정에서 냄새가 많이 나죠. 그러나 팥장은 냄새는 적게 나오고 또 깔끔한 맛과 함께 감미가 있습니다.
For people who struggle with the odor of doenjang, patjang is a great alternative. It has a complex flavor, combining sweet and savory tastes. It can be used to make stews with various vegetables. Unlike doenjang jjigae, which is salty, patjang stew has a subtle savory flavor. Patjang can also be mixed with red chili paste to make a type of pancake. The versatility of patjang made it an ingenious ingredient that allowed Koreans to keep their balance of yin and yang every day. It is a traditional food that is, unfortunately, slowly being forgotten.
너무 맛있어. 잘 끓였구만. 누가 기다 찍어?
깔끔하고 깊은 맛도 있고 너무 깔끔해서 좋았어요, 저는.
For Koreans, red beans are more than just another crop. They represent heartfelt wishes to ward off evil spirits and bring prosperity in cold winter nights. Patjuk was enjoyed in the palaces of the Joseon dynasty as well. The evidence is the Pugyeonju, a pot next to the Daejojeon in Changdeokgung Palace. This was where patjuk was made and shared. What food did the king have on Dongji? The king's first Dongji food was made by boiling cow's feet and cow skin. It's called jeonnyak. Jeonnyak is made with ginger, cloves and pepper. It is soft and chewy like jelly. Ancient texts say that this was a food that would help the royalty bear the cold winter and keep their bodies warm.
이 음식을 먹게 되면 추위를 타지 않는다. 그래서 내의원에서 이것을 고아서 겨울에 올렸어요. 그럼 임금님께서 이것을 드시기도 하셨지만 기로소라는 아주 원로 대신들 퇴임하여서 오래된 분들에게 기로소에 이걸 하사하시기도 했고, 그래서 겨울철 궁중의 보양 음식입니다.
Another food served to the king together with jeonnyak was tarakjuk. From lunar October to Dongji, this milk porridge was served to the king as soon as he rose in the morning.
역대 임금님들이 타락죽을 제일로 즐겨 하셨다고 해요.
Tarakjuk is made with tarak, which means milk. It comes from the word torak, meaning milk in East Old Turkic. Milk could only be obtained from cows working in the fields and was extremely precious. It was served as porridge to the king when he was sick and awarded to the king's servants by royal decree when they fell ill. Around Dongji, the king's table would also be set with a winter kimchi called chang kimchi. The king's health was equivalent to the health of the nation, so the royal table was an important part of preparing for the new year.
민가에서 먹던 김치는 나박김치라 그래서 소금에 무 배추를 절이죠. 그거에 비해서 이 장김치는 궁중에서 드셨던 김치로 소금에 절이지 않고 간장에 배추 썰은 건, 무 썰은 것을 절여서 귀하게 만든 음식이에요. 그래서 임금님께서는 이렇게 이제 궁중에서는 이 장김치를 뭐 죽을 드실 때도 물김치로 드셨지만 떡이라든지 이렇게 무엇인가 조금 그 다과상에도 이 장김치를 올려서 아주 품격 있게 드셨다고 합니다.
While the king stayed healthy with patjuk and cheonyak, ordinary Koreans in the north withstood winter with dongchimi, or radish water kimchi, which went perfectly with patjuk.
옛날에 평양에서는 냉면을 먹었대요. 동짓날. 동지미 냉면을 드셨다고 그러더라고요. 집에서 동지미를 담궈 놓은 거를 면 삶아서 이렇게 드셨다고 그러더라고요. 시원하게.
Dongchimi is made in lunar November. Chopped radishes, pears and green chili peppers are soaked in salt water and fermented. Water kimchi is a refreshing treat in the summertime, but in winter it ices over. Ironically, cold dongchimi noodle soup was considered a dish that was best served and enjoyed in winter. Once the dongchimi ages in an earthen jar hit with icy winds, half of dongchimi naengmyeon is complete.
살얼음이 사륙지면 그냥 건져서 이렇게 먹어요. 그러면 시원하고 맛있다고 그러대요.
Next on the ingredient list is this: buckwheat noodles. Buckwheat is crucial to making good dongchimi naengmyeon in winter. Buckwheat is cold by nature, cooling down fevers and cleansing the blood. In the book Dongguk Saeshigi, buckwheat noodles wrapped with radish and cabbage kimchi and served with pork are described as naengmyeon. It was considered a seasonal food for lunar November, the month of Dongji. One may think this became a winter food just because buckwheat was harvested in autumn and dongchimi made in winter, but there's more to the story.
겨울이라는 것이 상징이 추위와 어둠 아니겠습니까? 그러니까 인행 친행으로서 추위를 견딜 수 있는 내성도 기를 수 있었을 것이고, 이것이 또 가장 밤이 긴 날의 마지막 자락이기도 하니까 점점 태양의 기운이 회복되니까 마지막까지도 추위를 잘 견뎌내자라는 의미를 담고 있습니다.
맛있게 먹어. 예.
People would huddle next to the fire in wintertime and have noodles with ice floating in the broth. They beat back the winter cold with more cold. This way, Koreans train themselves to stay fit throughout winter and prepare for spring.
시원하고 맛있네요. 앞으로 이제 뭐 가족들 건강하고 그랬으면 좋겠어요. 네.
Fighting against the winter cold, Koreans waited for the bright sun that would dispel dark nights. For them, red beans were more than just a food to fill the stomach. They were a symbol of sincere wishes to shake off fears and greet a healthy new year. To Koreans, Dongji foods represented a weight, a deep longing for a spring that had yet to come, but was sure to come.